Good afternoon. I'm Jim Check with KelownaNow Live. Today in the studio we have Tim Degroot of Degroot Custom Homes. Welcome. We're going to put this mic here right out in front of you here. Whoop, there we go. Today we're going to talk about secondary suites. The BC government has a program out there for a $40,000 grant if you build a rental suite and then adhere to a few things. What do you know about that?
Well, I've just kind of read through the fact sheet on it. If your house qualifies, you can get up to a $40,000 rebate for completing a renovation. So you'll basically have to spend at least $80,000 to get the $40,000.
So they give you a max of half back, and then you have to put it in a rental program for 5 years, and you have to adhere to the rental affordability limits. And then for Kelowna right now, according to this, Kelowna right now would be $1,289 for a 1-bedroom. A $1,686 for a 2-bedroom, and $2,282 for a 3-bedroom plus.
Yeah.
But you said there's restrictions in Kelowna right now on how big a carriage home can be.
Yeah, there always has been. Yeah. It's a percentage of what is on the lot, and then if your house is too small, then there's incentives that you can make a bigger carriage home, like bigger than the main house. So for the most part, depends how big the main house is.
But there's some zoning stuff coming as well from the BC government. I don't know if that'll affect anything, but I know right now you're limited to 1,000 square feet on that carriage home, which means lots of people put them on top of garages, right? So they get a better garage out of it. So that means, and you're saying there's a restriction on the garage. You can only put 1-car garage underneath.
You can do a 1-car garage, yeah. We did an attached garage to a single floor carriage home, so that was restricted to 1.
Oh, so you did a garage and the carriage home to the side?
So they were connected, yeah. So if it was in a single floor structure and attached garage, we're only allowed 1.
But if you did it above, then you could do 2?
Then you could do 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So, but $40,000, how far does that go for 1,000 square foot?
On a carriage house?
Yeah.
Your DCCs are anywhere from 22 to 28,000 just for the carriage house.
That's just for the development cost charges.
That's right.
That's to cover off like the city's sewer costs.
Yep.
It's fire flows and all that other
kind
of stuff,
exactly.
Right? So
yeah, they used to be 2,500. The province changed it, said it wasn't. It was actually subsidizing, and it wasn't fair across all projects. So they said that you have to up the charge, and that's what the city did.
So from 2,500 to, what did you say the number was?
It went up like 800%. They said it was something crazy. It was just starts at 22 is the lowest, and 28 is the higher end. But it didn't give much of a description online there as to how those costs changed. So
when did that go?
That was within the last year, I believe, because we did a building permit 2 summers ago, and that one was only 2,500.
And now it's 28,000.
Yeah.
And then they talk about ways to make homes more affordable. That would not be one of them.
That would not be one of them, but I guess the city infrastructure's got to be there for future proofing.
That's quite a jump. I think I'll talk to the city on that one. That'll be a nice conversation I can have with somebody, just to make sure that we're getting that right. So to qualify for this, though, there's a few things that you kind of have to qualify for, right? Number one, you have to own the home, right?
It has to be your primary residence.
Yeah.
You have dual income. Like if you have a dual income, you got to be under $209,420.
Right.
And then you have to have the right zoning basically. So there are quite a few links involved with BC Housing there you can follow.
And they'll give you up to half back up to a maximum of $40,000.
That's right. Yeah.
And so is that you get that back as
a rebate?
As a rebate after 5 years, because you got to stay in that program.
Well, no, you need your occupancy permit.
Yeah.
And then the loan. So then you'll get your $40,000.
Right.
But then it's registered on title as a forgivable loan.
Oh, okay. So then if you don't adhere to the rental stuff, then the loan is not payable.
That's right. Yeah. Or if you sell your home within those 5 years.
Okay. So there's a few things that might be scary for some people if they don't want to sell, if they're thinking about selling their home.
Yeah. It's not really, you're going to want to live in the home for the next 5 years.
Right.
And rent it out. Yeah.
You have any calls on this already, or?
I haven't had calls on this. No.
Have not?
No.
You think it's going to incentivize some people, or?
It just depends, I guess. I think everyone's kind of sitting on the sidelines with the interest rates right now.
Right. And I guess if you're already going to build a carriage home, there's $40,000, right?
Yeah, $40,000 will get you maybe building permit ready, but price.
40, that's wow. That's so a lot of costs in Kelowna are, I guess what you say is non-value added. Do you know what I mean? Like the drywall adds value to the wall,
Right.
But permits and stuff like that.
Yeah, I guess gets you to the stage where you can start adding value. Yeah.
Correct.
So it's really just your money is going in, and you're kind of using the loan to get to that point.
Wouldn't it be better if they actually took away some of those costs to incentivize people to build more?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know like the complete breakdown of the costs or how they get to those,
right.
But I mean, it's hard for me to say. But
and what are the like the building costs right now? Like if we look at say 2019 compared to today, where are we at with like lumber and drywall and all that stuff?
Well, lumber was up. Now it's back down. Yeah. It does go up it can go up with fire season. It can go up with, building boom in the States.
Right. But lumber's not the biggest cost in a home though too, right? It's like, what is that? Like 10%, 15%?
Well, I mean, your framing and forming is kind of like about 30, just over 30% of your costs. So
that's including the labor though.
That's including the labor. Yeah. And the concrete and everything. So I don't have a percentage for lumber, but
okay. Yeah. So a guide for per square foot?
A guide, like the best thing is like if you're if you already have a lot and you know what you can be built on it, is to just go through the process. It costs you a bit of money to figure out what you can do on your lot, but it's that way you can get like a guaranteed number. This is what it's going to cost. This is what I can do. Other than that, if you just want kind of preliminary rough costs, it's better to look for comparables. What
somebody else built just recently kind
of thing? That's right. Yeah. Same idea when you go to sell your house, like realtors always looking at comparables. Yeah. Same idea. Like, we've done a carriage house recently. It was just under 400,000. It was 1,000 square feet.
$400,000.
Yeah.
1,000 square feet.
Yeah.
$400 a square foot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's pretty steep.
It's pretty steep for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I imagine if you have second story on homes, the second story is cheaper because obviously you're not putting a foundation underneath that.
Yeah, it depends. Like carriage houses are a little bit trickier because
that's the only most of the time that's where the living quarters are. But I'm just saying if you had a house, like it might be the cost will go down if you do a second
theoretically
story.
Just buying a floor system and some walls and up you go, right? Yeah. You don't have to buy the foundation so that's kind of how you average down your square foot costs. So
wow, that seems expensive though.
Yeah.
Is there like building materials coming that'll kind of like cut that cost, or what are the biggest costs that go into building a home right now? So you've got your lumber and your framing. You say that's like 30%. Yeah. So where's the rest of the main costs? Is that in the finishing or?
Well, I mean, it's just everything, honestly. Like there's like mechanical, plumbing, electrical. Like there's a huge. Those are some of the biggest increases that we've had. Like even ventilation code changes and stuff like that. So like pretty much every house has to have like some sort of circulating air, like an HRV as we call it. So heat recovery ventilation. So it's so like those things are all
cost money.
Yeah, they all cost money. That's right.
So I mean, I looked at modular homes a while ago too, and it seems to be up there too, though. Modular homes seem to be.
I've never really come across it. Like, you mean as far as the ones that are for sale?
Yeah, just in town. There's a couple of people that sell modular homes here that put on lots and stuff like that. Yeah, I was just trying to wrap my head around some of the per square foot costs, right? So we talk about housing affordability a lot, yet it seems like it's really hard to have housing affordability if it costs so much to build a house.
Well, yeah, I mean, like. It's expensive to live, and then there's a lot of labor that goes into a house. And
I'm just saying, like people say, like the cost of houses is so much, but then really have to look at a new home because that's what because if we add 1 million people to the population, obviously we have to add new homes, right? Because the current homes don't do enough. So but if it costs us that much to build homes, that's like when they talk about, if we build more homes, it'll make them more affordable. Well, it seems to cost a lot to build a home.
It does, for sure. Like it's quite high.
Because if we had 400 square foot, just like some quick math, a 3,000 square foot home, which is I'd say a typical home, like a single family home. Single family home. We're talking $1.5 million just for the house and then the lot. And in Kelowna, what's a lot? 600.
Yeah, it depends where you go. You go Upper Mission for sure. You're 600. They don't get much cheaper than like 460. That's for sure.
Right. So you're at $2 million for a single family
Yeah.
White picket fence home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Housing affordability.
Yeah.
But I mean, does it get more affordable in other cities? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't, like, it seems, I guess the lot price would come down. That'd be your biggest
I mean, I
variable,
guess these
right?
guys think so because the rent is different. And
in different places, yeah. I guess they're talking about some of the market rate, right? So if we look at, for instance, Kelowna, for like a 1-bedroom, $12.89 is their rent control, and then it's cheap as $825 in Port Alberni.
700.
Oh, 600 in Quesnel. They should pay you to live in Quesnel. I'm just kidding. I used to live there.
But not a big increase up to a 3-bedroom in Quesnel.
Williams Lake, 700. So in Quesnel for a 3-bedroom, 775. Yeah, so a small increase there, right? So, yeah, so in Kelowna, 2282 for a 3-bedroom, whereas in Quesnel, 775. Yeah, lot price is definitely cheaper in other communities.
For sure, yeah.
DCC is likely way cheaper as well.
Or non-existent, yeah.
Or non-existent, yeah. So, you build homes. Is there any way that we can get some housing affordable? Like, if you were the guy with the magic wand, is there anything that you would say that we could do to?
Well, I don't know what else you can really do. I mean, I don't have the magic wand. I guess if I did, I'd try and wave it, but
like DCCs, obviously, if we could have lower DCCs.
Yeah.
Lower lot prices.
Yeah, lot prices, I guess, but if people have already bought them, then
it's hard because when some of this land gets developed, you got to put in the roads and the sewer and and all that stuff too, and the sidewalks.
And if you put too many lots in one area, then the roads aren't big enough, and then what do you got to do with those roads?
All the parking and all that other stuff that goes with it.
Yep.
Wow. So if people are interested in this, you were saying even if they got their building permit last year?
April last year, they could still qualify.
Okay.
The application process opens April of 2024.
Right. So it doesn't open yet. You can't apply yet. But if you started last year after April, you can.
If you had your building permit.
If you had your building permit.
Yeah.
Well, but it couldn't be built by now.
Well, if you're fast, maybe it's built by now.
How long does it take to build a house right now? A carriage home.
Carriage home. If you can get it flowing, 8 months would be no problem. Yeah.
So that's just a lot of time waiting between.
That's like the actual construction. I think the wait lines at the city have decreased significantly. I waited up to, it wasn't last year, it was the year before, 3 months over.
Just for a permit?
Just for a permit, yeah.
There might be some places that wave that magic wand.
Yeah.
Just thinking.
Yeah.
Thinking out loud. Maybe that's one place you could wave that wand there a little bit.
And I think they did. I think they the government was able to put some pressure on the municipalities to speed that process
3 months. I had another builder in here. He told me it was a year for just a regular home in Lake Country.
Oh, well, I've never built in Lake Country, but I have heard it does take some time out there for sure. Yeah.
Seems like a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
A year?
A year would be excessive for sure.
Seems crazy.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, if they keep telling us we need to build more homes.
Yeah. It's too much red tape for sure.
There's too much of something.
Yeah. Well, it's going to increase a bit too with step code coming into place, and having to have a more airtight home is going to cost more to build your home. And so step code is.
You ever work with ICF?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Done it a few times. Yeah.
What do you think of that?
It's a good product. Yeah. If it's installed correctly, then, it makes everything go smoothly, and it is
pretty airtight though too, no?
It's very airtight, yeah. When costs were quite higher, like
for lumber,
when we were going through COVID, everything was really expensive. So then it was very comparable to do lumber versus doing ICF for foundation. So it just made sense
to do ICF.
Well, because plus you're getting more of the Cadillac rather than the Pinto.
Maybe a little bit of insulation and a little bit of soundproofing and a little bit of it'll be there when a fire roars through, right? I've seen those pictures in Florida where all the houses are gone. There's one ICF one standing still.
Oh yeah.
Crazy.
The foam might melt.
What's that?
The foam might melt.
Yeah, just when you foam on the outside, concrete will be there. Anything else that you see out there that how is it going anyway? Busy?
Things are definitely slowing down.
Yeah. Interest rates obviously causing a lot of that.
Yeah, there's a backlog. So a lot of builders have jobs that are just trickling through to the finish line, and then I don't know what's really starting for the new year.
We built our first house a long time ago. It was a 1.5 story, like 2,000 square foot home. In Alberta, they don't count the basement. So
Yeah.
1.5 story. They built it in 2.5 months.
Oh, really?
2.5 months. I mean, they built a lot of homes. In that one subdivision, they were probably building 100 homes.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So they built it in 2.5 months. I mean, they were fixing it for another 2 years, but but
I bet
they built them fast, though, right? Like, I mean, they had crews that just go from house to house to house, right?
Yeah, a lot of stuff built around here though is it's all custom. It's all custom homes, luxury. Nothing's really cookie cutter.
So they are like the province is talking about doling, and I think the city is too, about like having these kind of like base plans, kind of that they're going to offer for free.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like cookie cutter kind of things to kind of increase housing. I don't know if that'll help much, or
I mean, fly into Calgary and you look out the window.
It looks the same everywhere, right? Looks like a mining camp.
Yeah.
Roof line to roof line.
Yeah.
But that's like I was in Edmonton. That's what it was. Where like they built our house in 2.5 months. Like I mean, it was crazy how much work they got done in a day. Right. Yeah. We had big crews on site. Right.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
they sheet a house in a day.
You give something up when you go that quick, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, you got to have really good quality. And then they did the quality at the end.
Yeah.
We noticed, but but they did build a lot of homes, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think back at that time, that home was $135,000.
Oh, okay.
Including the lot.
Yeah.
Including the lot.
Including the lot. Yeah, it's a pretty good
2,000 square foot home. Hey?
It's changed a little bit. Yeah.
Changed a little bit, I'll say. Holy cow. Well, I thank you for coming in. That was great. So again, if people are looking for information on this, you can reach out to Tim Degroot at Degroot Custom Homes. And you kind of like, that's one of your specialties, building carriage homes?
Yeah, we started in carriage homes. We've always worked on properties. We've kind of gone up from carriage homes to renovations, just adding suites to people's houses, new homes with suites. It just seems like there's always a suite incorporated into what we do.
Yeah, I think a lot of people call them mortgage helpers now if they're building a house too, right? So they want to put that in there so they can get a little bit of rent to help with the mortgage, right?
For sure.
So, especially now, if people's mortgages are renewing, they're probably going to want to rent anything they can out.
Yeah, for sure they will.
You know, because I think some payments are going to go up 50%.
People are going to get a rude awakening, I guess. But
well, hopefully the interest rates come down. Again, thank you for coming in.
No problem.
And thank you for watching KelownaNow.